be playing on easy difficulty for speed purposes. Jedi and the other difficulties just make it a bit slower. So.
And time starts when we select the first mission. So we will jump right on it. Are you ready?
I'm ready when you are. You want to give the countdown?
Sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go. We're off. Battle of Hoth. First level of the
I was
game.
just here.
Yeah, you were.
I cleared this out already. So stage 1 is going to open up and you're going to take out a bunch of probe droids. A bunch, like 4.
Not too many.
I'm not seeing your stream. I'm just seeing the title screen.
Sorry. Pause here.
Do we have to start again?
Let's
Very early.
Restart.
Restart?
We are live, but if John can't see, then
That's strange.
that
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Okay.
Okay. We'll restart. We're only a minute in.
Okay. I lost you when you rebooted.
Strange.
Sorry about that. We'll restart.
All right.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so I'm BMac Attack, and then I have StarFalco.
Yep. Hello.
Say hi. Let everyone know. And then we have John. Okay.
Hello. Yep. John Knowles.
John Knowles.
I was lead designer on Shadows of the Empire and lead artist and a bunch of other hats back in the day.
And yeah, so we'll get started again.
All right.
And
Everyone,
you're
ready? All good?
I think we're all good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Man, the race is on.
There we go.
It's a shame I
Battle
had
of
such a
Hoth.
good stage 1.
That's the real trick in that. Probe droid's eluding me.
Yeah, this level was pretty cool.
This is a very iconic one for this game for sure.
First time I animated that little guy stomping around. Did the cockpit art. Yep. Basically everything you see.
I love the cockpit art in this game. I always play first person.
I had done a lot of cockpits because I had worked on the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, so I did all the cockpits for those. But yeah, one of the, I guess, when I first started to work on this, the novelist was working on his version of the story, Dark Horse Comics was working on their version of the story, and none of them involved the Battle of Hoth, and because that had already happened. We've all determined the story was going to take place after The Empire Strikes Back. But, I felt, the team felt that we're going to do our first 3D game by LucasArts, full 3D, if you don't count the X-Wing TIE Fighter. It's the first time we had a full 3D action game. And it's the movie, right? It's quite a sequence from movies. So started to prototype this out. First day we had the speeder roaming around, flying around walkers. We're like, oh yeah, we got it. But and believe it or not, the cable almost didn't happen.
That would have been rough.
Yeah, it was originally the only way to bring it down was to shoot it, in the head or in the neck, a bajillion times. And
Like we just did.
yeah, and I kept asking the engineer, Eric Johnson, who's something genius, how can we do the cable? Well, we can't do, real splines. We can't. I said, well, what if it's not a real spline? What if it's just a bunch of lines that are connected, that link together in a chain, and it just. Anyway, I was about to give up. I would ask him almost every day, what if we did this? What if we did that? What if we did this? I think he got tired of me asking. He came in, I came into work one Monday and he says, John, check it out. And he had a cable wrapped around the walker's legs. He did it over the weekend. Instead of sitting
Nice. That's awesome. And then decided to give the challenge point awards to that as well.
Exactly. All right,
Well,
what are those wampas?
Yeah,
we won't be
Wampas.
seeing any wampus today.
a little too out of the way for us.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I thought there was no way to avoid him.
I'm just kidding. Stormtroopers are pretty accurate today.
Look at all those polygons. You can almost count them on both hands.
My favorite 3D was when it was not really round.
Oh, Death Falls. Death Falls. You know, I swore a long time ago I would never ever make a game with Death Falls again. I think that was after Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I just said that's it. I can never do
You worked on Bounty Hunter too, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
We had Bounty Hunter earlier today.
I think I worked on
Favorite of mine, man. I love that game. One of the greatest stories in Star Wars video gaming.
Oh, thanks, man. I wrote that.
You wrote that?
Yep. All the dialogue.
Dude, you don't even know. I tell people all the time, like I think one of the biggest losses when Disney wiped the canon was the story of Bounty Hunter. That was one of the best EU stories ever, in my opinion. It was so good.
Well, it's funny. I mean, this game was supposed to, the goal when we started making this was to make a video game starring Boba Fett. You kind of think of it as Boba Fett's bad week. He was trying to get Han Solo from Cloud City to Jabba the Hutt. He figured that all the other bounty hunters would be trying to cash in, and it would be great. But it didn't work out that way for many reasons, not the least of which was Nintendo insisted that the main character of the game that players play would be exclusive, meaning you wouldn't see that character on any other console for some amount of time.
Right.
Which meant it couldn't be Luke or Han Solo while Han Solo was frozen. But it couldn't be, couldn't even be Boba Fett because he was going to appear in Dark Forces or Jedi Knight, which is going to come out a year later. So that was kind of we ended up choosing the character. I guess you could say it was kind of Han Solo's step in.
We like to call him discount call. Discount
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah, Dash.
My opinion was always that Dash felt like the character where, how at the end of A New Hope, Han Solo's sort of faced with the decision of whether or not he's got to come back and save the rebels and be the hero.
Yeah, Dash would be that
Han
guy.
chooses that, but Dash is the guy who made the other choice.
Yeah. Well,
That was always
the
how
comic book artist, Dark Horse, Kelly Plunkett, he had some great ideas for what Dash would look like. He was spooky. He was kind of like the space pirate Han Solo wished he could be if he didn't have art. But it was going to be too hard to render something like that. The public would get fuzzy hair, a beard, and all kinds of stuff like that. So couldn't do that. Hey, look at that! You're inside the Outrider. They're behind, but
fly
that was fun. That was the first time you could see a ship on the outside, walk into it. Believe it or not.
Really? I didn't.
There was a
think
lot of firsts in this game. There wasn't much to do in there. The room was probably 50 polygons, but
all the same, that this game always felt like that.
yeah, there was some sort of internet legend that you could blow up the Star Destroyer. I'm here to confirm that you cannot. Never die.
The last level, yeah.
Yeah, anybody who thinks they're an internet hero and blows up the Star Destroyer here is
a liar.
Is a liar. It is a prop.
Well, you guys did kind of throw a red herring out our way with that, because you gave it a health bar. It just never goes down from 100%. So
That's
really,
right.
I don't know,
The thing is, the path you're on takes you away from it eventually anyway, so there's no way you can go to that point. But yeah, this was kind of cool. This is, one of 6 game modes we did, which, in retrospect, is not the greatest way to go about
Crazy.
designing a video game. thing is, when we did that on the Super Nintendo games, and everybody loved it, so I thought, well, in our first 3D game, I will follow some of the formula. But it turned out to be a lot harder than I thought.
That's true. Super Nintendo games did have a lot of that. I never really thought about it.
Side-scrolling, Mode 7, sometimes you're flying, sometimes you're on a speeder, all kinds of stuff. It seemed like players would expect that sort of thing playing a Star Wars game. Galaxy hopping.
I mean, as difficult as it is to make, this is one of the best Star Wars games, I feel like.
Oh, it's always been up there for me. I've got a lot of fond memories with this game. Me and my dad used to play it when I was a kid, and you know, forever, my dad could never beat Boba Fett. That was the big thing.
Yeah, he was tough.
It was a tough boss fight. The level 2 Boba Fett is extremely long too, you know, it's just a long, hard level, you know. And I remember years later, I was sitting in my room playing this game, trying it again, and I finally beat Boba Fett, and I just yell from my room, I just beat Boba Fett! And my dad came running in, knew exactly which game I was talking about, knew exactly what I was talking about, and just goes, no freaking way.
Yeah, it's tough. I can't remember why the asteroid's red.
The challenge point.
Challenge point asteroid.
Oh, that's right. There you go. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, we stuffed those all over the game. Well, I think we had 10 of them. And one of them was well, I won't spoil it. Are you collecting all the challenge points? Yeah, we thought that would be a fun Easter egg. That's pretty indulgent. That's inside baseball. We shouldn't have done that. But I think there was.
But you guys do it in a lot of games.
Yeah, that's a very, something that people don't really do much of anymore, you know?
Well, an Easter egg is supposed to be hidden. That was kind of in your face. So, I mean, if you want to get all 10, everyone's going to see it. So
yeah, the game does. The game does encourage you rather heavily to get all the challenge points. Offer a lot of incentives. Actually, that's something. This game has a lot of good incentives for getting the challenge points. I had a lot of fun playing with the rewards for getting all of those when I was a kid.
So yeah, as I mentioned, as you're on the train level here, that's originally when we first brought in a team of SGI programmers at research. They came from Silicon Graphics. We were they were the most knowledgeable about the system that was driving the N64, or what was called Project Reality at the time. So, you know, we didn't think we were going to make a Star Wars game. I'd already made so many of them. I was getting a little tired of it, wanted to try something else, so thought about doing a Western shoot 'em up. And so we had a mock-up of a train moving through a canyon, which you'd never really seen before in a game. You'd see trains, you were always on a train in 2D, or if you were in a first-person shooter, the ground would shake and you'd see some textures go by, like you're moving. But you weren't actually snaking through canyons, going up and down and banking around turns and all that stuff. So that was really cool to see, but you know, at some point it was pretty obvious we had to switch gears and make Star Wars games. It's like, all right, what's a Star Wars train look like? And what was the environment look like? What do you do? Duck, jump. It's just like every ham-fisted idea you can think of to make the player stay busy. But,
I think BMAC and I approach this level a little differently in terms of speedrunning as well. BMAC doesn't seem to do any of the lag reduction strats, where I do. You can look to the sky to reduce the N64's lag and actually gain about 3 seconds over the course of the 9.5 minute
clever
auto scroller.
Yeah, before the expansion that we used in Pod Racer to get you a little bit better frame rate.
Right.
Yeah, I like looking at what I'm playing instead of looking at the sky.
I've got this.
Is there something wrong with your camera button?
I've got this down to a science at this point. The lag reduction in this, I get it every time now.
There is a science to it for sure. I feel like if I'm gonna miss a record by 3 seconds, I could have made it up somewhere else.
It's awfully brave of his statement, I gotta say. Imagine getting a 4601 or a 4602, and you know that if you just got that, did that lag reduction in Ord Mantell.
Maybe.
So I guess the reason of this level was just one line of dialogue Han Solo said in Empire Strikes Back, which is, well, that bounty hunter we ran into in Ord Mantell changed my mind. It was like,
I always thought about that.
that must be a place where bounty hunters like to hang out. Although, I mean, just trying to make references. Like, wow, there's a place they mentioned in the movies we've never seen. Well, let's imagine a giant spaceship junkyard. It's got a train, carries the hover train that carries, I guess, parts to a forge. And the forge is where you're going to run into the only bounty hunter that the other bounty hunters might be a little scared to run into.
You know, I've got to hand it to you with knowing you wrote Bounty Hunter. I've got to hand it to you in that same vein with that game too, because I've always recognized that almost all of that game's plot is pulled from that one conversation that Jango Fett has in Attack of the Clones.
Well, the entire game was based on how did Jango become template for the clone army? Why did he want a son? So I got to come up with a whole story for that. First, I had to ask George Lucas 10 questions. Like, the best way to get answers from George Lucas is to send yes or no questions, no more than 10, through an interoffice manila envelope. Because there wasn't really much email.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
And you would write GWL, which is his initials, and then his secretary would get it and pass it on to him. And, but basically, he said yes to every single question I asked. Those were things like, can I explain how Jango Fett got to Slave One? Can I explain how Jango Fett became the 10th Clone Army by doing this, that, and the other thing? The only one that he didn't like was I had kind of a revenge story between Jango and Montross, which was still sort of there in the game, but he said he's a mercenary. Keep it about the money, like, you know. And the need to pass on the legacy. That's it. He wrote that in the margins in his red pen, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That is
so, kept me on focus, basically. But very hard game to make. This one was hard too. We didn't have a whole lot of time to make games back then. Probably took 18 months.
Basically a launch title for the N64.
Yeah, it missed launch by
about like a month.
A month, I guess. So
I knew it was very early.
Made it for Christmas. I always like to joke the reason GoldenEye is so much better is they got a full year. They were supposed to be a launch game too. They didn't come out next year. That's not the only reason. Those guys were great.
That's what we can say.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
More time leads to more polish.
Every time.
Yeah, moving inside, outside the train. That was pretty cool back then.
Got to be careful in this level in the speedrun. If you fall off and die, you can lose quite a bit of time going back to the last checkpoint. And of course, there's nothing you can do to speed it up.
You can see the other train. That's always cool too, seeing the other train as you're merging alongside of it. Those were inspired by World War II German armored trains.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I always liked the
real world reference.
The physics that you guys added to this. You know, when you're going around turns, you get the warning here.
Oh yeah,
like throws dash off to the side if you're jumping.
Don't jump around the turn.
That was always very cool.
Coriolis effect or something like that. They call that.
Something like that.
It was moving pretty quickly too in terms of scale speed. That's kind of why that happened. It's the only way to make it feel like you were crawling was to really move this thing through the environment.
Well, and then as you up the difficulty, you make it go faster.
Oh, that's right.
So like, this level on easy right now is like a 10-minute level. But when you play it on Jedi difficulty, it's like 7 minutes. The train goes so fast.
Hey, look at that Sandcrawler. Cameo.
That's right.
I always loved going underneath the Star Destroyer too, for that matter.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Like, just seeing things from that you never saw from those perspectives before. Movies never did that these days. the sequels are full of that stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't remember. Like, this is before Episode 1 ever came out, before
Yeah.
any of the sequels.
There's a real vibe to the prequels.
This is before even the
Star
special
Wars.
editions, right?
Well, yes, it was all leading up to the special edition. So the whole reason behind this movie without a movie campaign, right? You had soundtrack, you had toys, you had comic book, you had video game. A lot of that was really, getting people fired up. It had been 20 years since Star Wars came out. The Timothy Zahn novels were starting to generate a lot of interest. Our games, right? X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Super Star Wars, Dark Forces. So, wait, Dark Forces? Yeah, that came out in '95. They were all, building a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. And so licensed. There's the engine. That's the one that's most inspired by the German armor trains.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
How?
so this was considered just a big part of that, and that was all gearing up to the special editions in '97.
And you even got the Outrider in the special editions. They added that to A New Hope.
That's right, and I didn't get a screen credit.
What?
I'm not a, yeah, that was the model.
George.
That was the model I made for the PC version. I made a high res version of that model. Came out
Yeah.
about 6 months after this, I think.
Nice.
Oh, wow. If anyone needed another reason to hate the special editions, right? As if we needed another reason.
No, it was cool. It was cool to watch that ship take off. I mean, we shared stuff with ILM all the time. They shared stuff with us. I don't think we gave them credit. Well, we never used one of their assets outright, but we certainly used their work as a reference. Oh, IG-88. Yeah, this was spooky. So Mark A. Hutchinson was another project leader. He's no longer with us, sadly, but he was a super smart programmer, really friendly guy. But he came up with this waypoint system that allowed IG-88 to do what I wanted to do, which is no matter where you go, he's going to show up in your face. And that was pretty spooky. And then I remember when you made quick work of him, though.
I'm so sorry.
Some boss.
Wait till you see
Some
Boba.
boss.
So you can imagine how
Oh,
excited I was.
actually, I
when Mandalorian
probably
came
won't
out.
even get the Boba Fett kill. I'm bad at
Oh.
that. I mean, I'll probably beat him, but I'm bad at the quick kill for now.
Pretty funny.
I did a terrifying boss as a child.
Well, and his sounds he made.
Yeah, he's scary, man. There's a lot of this game that was freaking scary as a kid. By the way, yeah, thanks for the nightmares with the Dianoga level. Gotta just throw that out
That's
there.
right.
I think I'm speaking for everybody in the chat right now, as a matter of fact.
Funny.
Thanks for the nightmares.
So on
Speaking
the
of
right, this level
sorry.
Gull. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, someone in chat was wondering if the debug mode was left in the game intentionally.
Was that the one where you could
Wampa
drive
Stompa
the walker,
Yeah.
the walker, and shoot the snow speeders? Oh yeah, we put a lot of little secret sauce in there like that.
This game's filled with that.
Yeah, this level on the right though, that was so Jedi Knight hadn't come out yet, right? That would be I think another
Couple years.
98 maybe. No, I can't remember. But Dark Forces had, and I was lucky enough to get 3 of the level designers from Dark Forces to build the walk-around levels in this game. And Gaul was, one of the things that was really cool about Dark Forces was it gave you a hint of a much more vast world where most shooters at that point, you're just in hallways, right?
Right.
And so this was the first open 3D, full sprawling level in any of our games you could run around in. The sense of scale was pretty impressive. I mean, you're looking at 132 by 64 pixel texture stretched across the canyons, repeated in ad infinitum, and some fog, and you can count the polys, but it's still, I mean, you got this sense of scale and vastness that felt very Star Wars to me. So that was
I feel like you're on the edge of the canyon here.
Oh god, you are.
and
so easy to
don't
fall
fall off. It's death fall. You didn't get your jetpack yet, so
not yet.
Yeah, I'm a big believer, and I used to get in fights with other designers. Big believer. Like if you come do the the part in the game where there's going to be a big sniper mission, put a big sniper rifle right in front of the players. You know, like don't let them miss it. It was the same thing with the jetpack. I was just like, let's just park it right there. Nobody can miss it. We'll pick it right up.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta grab it, otherwise you can't move forward.
I'm gonna try the death orb here. Let's see what happens. Missed the transport.
Didn't we have an Imperial shuttle coming through here at some point as well?
It's coming up.
Okay, yeah, that was fun too. I mean, it's just like,
We might
again,
skip
the
that.
perspective you don't normally see. Oh yeah, if that's a cinematic, welcome to skip it. But, you know, perspectives you don't normally see.
Oh, we're gonna show you something else.
Got the death skip there. Can
We're gonna
avoid-
skip half this level. I'm sorry, John.
It's all right. You got to do what you got to do. How do you manage that?
Oh boy.
You'll see.
There's a cheat I didn't know about.
There's a big major glitch that is extremely exploitable in certain levels, only a couple levels.
You know,
It's funny.
that jetpack you're very fond of is quite broken.
Okay. Well, that's again. What was that? Yeah, I forgot. If you count the jet mode, that's like 7 modes of gameplay. Some of those textures might have actually been borrowed from Dark Forces. Now that I think about it, running around inside that base.
I think there's a few models, like the probe droid models, which are used in Dark Forces or Jedi Knight.
Yeah, no, we did a lot of reuse of stuff. In fact, you know, Jedi Knight's entire 3D animation system was based on the, I guess you could call it pioneering work we did here. So again, this was the first 3D game Star Wars ever made, besides the flight sims. So a lot of the things we had to figure out, the Dark Forces team was trying to figure out how to take their game full 3D. We sort of paved the way for them. Still, why do you have a death fall in a game with a jetpack? Like, I should have learned the lesson. Like, if I was to make Bounty Hunter again, I never would have let the guy fall to his death. That's just stupid.
That's funny.
Things you learn. Psst. I can still hear it. Psst. There you go.
All right.
Stage.
About to head. I'm about there for the jetpack clip. Let's see if
Okay, I've never seen.
I'm almost there. I come in pretty soon. Let's see. So
I
you
just
called
finished
it
the
over.
stage also.
Oh yeah, you're not far behind me then. I'm gonna swap controllers on this ride.
Proper race.
Unplug, replug. Okay. I've swapped to a controller with a GameCube style N64 stick. It makes the
Ah, yes, you don't have to use the
look a
4
little bit easier.
yellow buttons.
So, I don't know if you know this, John, but the N64 stick, or the controller itself, it doesn't give Dash full range of motion. And so he runs at like 75% speed.
Oh, really?
And if you change your stick, like if you have a GameCube style stick or a different controller, you can get maximum speed out of them. If you don't have that, you can offset the stick in the menu.
There
like
we
the center
go.
of the stick.
Out of
And
world
through the
glitch.
roof. Let's hope it works. Am I in? Oh, where am I? Oh. Not the right spot. Let's see.
Ah, see, that's the risks of cheating. Sometimes
I
it
know
doesn't
how
get
to
you what
fix
you want.
this. I believe I can kill myself if I get.
I hope you spawn in the right place.
Oh man. Yeah, this is a rough spot.
Ah, now Boba Fett.
Let's start.
Another.
All right, Cross our fingers here.
I'm pretty stuck.
No, Boba. Ah. So the best way to do it is just like to charge him,
I don't know how I
fire
do that.
seeker missiles right in his face, and he usually gets stun locked and dies almost instantly. But sometimes he likes to fly away immediately.
I'm just gonna keep doing this.
He doesn't die. He just gets hurt.
He does not die.
And then he gets to the ship, and he takes off with Han Solo anyway.
Well, I don't. Does he? Because I'm gonna take down a ship.
Yeah, that's what the plot says in the narrative cards.
I know.
Oh. Okay,
Can't
I've almost
remember-
killed myself to
remember
get
how
out
we
of the
explained
spot.
Slave One is a seriously tough boss, though. If you don't do it this way, like get right underneath him and abuse his weakness back there, then he'll just track you all over the map. He's very terrible when you do 100% runs because there's a bunch of challenge points around the map, and you can't quick kill him.
Right.
So when you do go to fight him, you have to face him head on.
So the swoop bike level, that was tough. That was we had like 4 or 5 different
There we go.
modules, big
That's
squares.
beautiful. Of course I get its beautiful second try.
All right, don't mess it up. But the concern was you wouldn't be able to see where you're going. You don't know where you're supposed to go. Yeah, Nintendo really wanted us to put directional arrows, like Mario Kart.
That would have ruined it.
I was like, no, that's not Star Wars. I mean, it is in Pod Racer, but that's what this is. So just tried to. It was kind of challenging. It's almost like you can use the fog as a vanishing point, right? The foggiest part is the part you're aiming for, really, because that's the farthest away.
Yeah, kind of.
Sort of. But yeah, originally that was a lot more crowded town, and it didn't work out at those speeds.
So there's obviously the objective here is to take out all the enemy swoops before they get to Luke, and then you go to Luke.
Yeah.
There's a glitch here where if you take out an odd numbered whoop, so like you start out, you take out the first one, and then stay ahead of the second one when you get to a certain point on the map, they all freeze in place.
Ah, okay. Bugs.
And
We'd
so
That's the kind of thing you'd patch these days, but there were no patches then. Once you sent it off, it was done. Huh.
So now I've left them behind, and there's no fear of them getting to Luke before me.
You can imagine if we hadn't made 6 or 7 games in one, we could have found all these bugs that you guys are enjoying right now.
You might
We
have.
could have fixed them.
Made the speedrun less fun.
Exactly. But the lessons that came out of that were Pod Racer, do one thing and do it really well, right? So Pod Racer was this team's next game, and also we gave the code from the beginning of the game to our friends at Factor 5, who were just down the street at the time. They moved over from Germany to the same neck of the woods we were in California. We said, just make one entire game that is just this. That's where Rogue Squadron came from. That's the first level of Shadows.
Ah,
So,
It's also
Yeah,
a
this-
good game.
so
that's great.
this game was kind of like I said, it was pretty much a pioneering effort that ended up living on in other games, right? You got Rogue Squadron, you got Pod Racer, you got Jedi Knight. So, a lot of cool stuff came from it.
This is one of my favorite levels.
Bounty
Or,
Hunter, if you think about it, Bounty Hunter was, again, this game was supposed to be that, like Bounty Hunter going after one, trying to get the bounty on one particular prey and being bothered by competition.
If not, we'll try this. Clip. There we go. If you build up enough speed, you can clip right through that door.
Right. I remember seeing bugs. There were also bugs where if there was a crack in the world, right, your speeder bike, your speeder would shoot through it. And the crack could be an inch, like so small. every day to work. I noticed a crack at this point. Who's gonna play it that way? If you were hugging the wall and boosting the entire time, you could shoot out the world. I said, stop doing that. Not how you're supposed to play it.
If you know any, we don't. Feel free to share.
Yeah, please. This game's world record has stood for 10 years.
Even do emulators count, or do you have to do it on 64? I guess you would have to.
Emulators count. Usually there's a set of rules, like if you're going to be top 3 time, it's got to be on real hardware.
Yeah.
I think the Shadows currently has them banned entirely in some machines.
A lot of N64 games, no emulators, no EverDrives, that kind of stuff. Which is kind of unfortunate, but the N64 is really tough to emulate. Yeah, I don't see why they don't just make their own categories.
And open it up to more people. I don't see how it's bad. Oh, are you kidding me? I fell into the pit with the threading the needle part at the end of Mos Eisley.
Oh, I did that too. You get like magnetized to those walls.
Mm-hmm.
I just got stuck.
You're almost done with Suprosa. I really got held up in golf for a while, stuck in that.
Man, I almost forgot that level entirely.
This is a cool one, actually. Suprosa is a favorite of mine.
The movement in it is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I remember this dude, the loader boss.
I always thought he was an interesting choice. Like, it works because it's like an freighter. Like, it's not like it's cool. You know, it's a good.
It wasn't like
something you don't really see.
Lava Beast Joanko in the belly of the Sandcrawler for Star Wars. No, that made no sense at all.
See, I love that era of games though, because like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it's so good right now. So okay, Ed 209 in the Death Star hangar bay. Is that you're doing?
Oh yeah, no, I think actually at the time that was West End Games had done all of the role playing games, and one of the walker enemies they come up with looked a lot like Ed 209, and at the time we were again just using things that other folks who had been okayed, like as you know. I wouldn't call it canon because it's all extended universe, but it's like, this is a thing in Star Wars. All right, let's do it. Let's put it in the game.
Oh boy, you're already into sewers.
Couldn't be a Star Wars shooter if you didn't have sewers. That also started in Dark Forces.
It's pretty much a staple. It's trains and sewers.
Yep.
And Hoth.
Every game loves Hoth.
God, I forgot about the spinning gears generator river. That was.
BMAC, are you picking up the extra disruptors in case you missed the Dianoga clip?
In case I miss. Well, I am picking up.
Sure, okay, never mind.
I'm gonna pick up disruptors in here, but mostly because. Oh, I should really change my camera. Because I want more for the Gladiator. I hate that boss.
Yeah, he's brutal.
Come on.
Doing more jetpacky glitches. That's funny. Yeah.
The jetpack's only available in so many levels, though, so, you know, we only get to use that so much.
Don't get to break the whole game.
Yeah. Well, if you included it in more, you definitely would have.
Surprisingly, though, it doesn't really work in the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
I haven't found anything worthwhile in that level. But yeah, we skipped most of the sewer maze here to pick up the key.
I've heard that you can clip out of bounds in Shizor's Palace, but it doesn't actually, like, do anything. Like, you can't go anywhere.
In the initial room, you can clip up to the room above you, and that's it.
Gotcha.
So it really doesn't, like, save any time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was spooky. Gone through the, you got Dianogas in here, don't you? There's one.
Alright, sewers for myself. Alright.
Infamous switches. Come on.
Yeah, we were so excited about the ability to like see ships coming and going from any perspective. We stuck it in it everywhere. Millennium Falcon at the beginning,
Oh, I
shuttle
love
on call, your ship. Funny that force field is something they ended up using from Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah,
Purple wall of cannot go through it. That was years later though.
that was the inspiration.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, get up there. Just enough. Well, the scariest boss in the whole game, if we're lucky, we're not going to see him.
Oh, the big robot.
We got the
Big
big
Dianoga.
Gladiator. Oh, the Dianoga. So that was me trying to bring back one of the levels we cut from Super Star Wars. We actually cut the trash compactor. It was almost done. In fact, I think it was pretty much done. It just wouldn't fit on the cartridge.
Get in there. Okay.
So this was my chance to sneak the Dianoga back into the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Oh,
pictures.
we might have
of it.
put them in Dark Horses as well.
There were pictures of it in like gaming magazines back then. Crash compactor level. And also in Super Star Wars, there was like another. Was it a Luke level in the carbonite chamber?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we cut a lot of stuff that just wouldn't fit. It's almost done. Probably could have made another game. For Star Wars: The Lost Levels.
That would have been great.
That's right. In this one, you had the great music playing through the whole thing. It's funny, the game is much shorter and smaller than I remember it. Watching you guys play through it.
When you boil it all down to only what you have to do, everything always feels shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first time through, you're like, oh, look at that. Oh, wow.
Oh, definitely. First time through, this is like a 6
This
to
is a
10 hour
big
game.
level, yeah. Big whole game, yeah.
I like watching people play it blind for the first time.
Man, not just how crude and simple our geometry was in those days. Didn't have a whole lot to work with.
We didn't complain, did we? As a gamer.
No, it didn't take long though, because around this time, PC games were coming out with much better graphics. We're not any other games like this on the console, so obviously you get compared. In fact, I think Tomb Raider, the very first Tomb Raider came out. Oh, around the same time, maybe a little after this. I can't remember. It was like Alone in the Dark was probably the only walk around time game to play. There weren't a lot of them, but then everybody was doing it. You see, you could do it a lot better. Or better looking. What the hell was that droid?
Which one? This orange one?
Yeah, I don't remember what that was.
Oh, he's like some sort of assassin droid. He does a
Really powerful.
crap ton of damage if you let him do it.
Yeah.
I didn't
I had rough jetpack clips this run.
That was a mean switch.
Now I'm stuck up here too.
That's just plain mean.
I gotta get it.
But yeah, switches are
Jump-
mean in Star
Jump and
Wars.
hit it while you're falling. That's just plain mean.
There we go.
Lebo, so named after another person I worked with at Lucas named Mike Levine. His nickname was Lebo. I thought it was a perfect droid name. So.
Oh, that's cute. You know, speaking of people who worked on the game and credits, there's always a credit that this game has that I've always been very curious about. Someone is credited for never actively trying to sabotage the project and was credited as the Raccoon King.
Is that
Tim
Schaefer? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always credited for that.
I didn't know that, and I've seen that, and I've been like, what is that? Who is that? That is extremely funny.
Yeah, we had lots of in-jokes. There was an in-joke at the end of Shadows of the Empire credits. I think it says for Chad, or enjoy the game, Chad. And that's because when we first went to E3 and demoed Bounty Hunter, there was a bunch of guys playing it. And turns to his friend, he goes, dude, when Chad sees this, he's gonna shit his pants. So, we gave credit to Chad.
Good job, Chad.
You gotta wonder if he shit his pants.
Yeah, that's funny. Got the Dash doing the Twitch there or something.
I think I was stuck under the head.
That's right, you're stuck with the head. Right. How do we make this boss keep going and going? I don't know. Let's just have him fight the head.
I love that part. It's like it never
Always
dies.
in threes. Always in threes. Game designers.
Oh my gosh, it does. Alright. Crunch time.
Going to Skyhook.
Now you get to go to space for yet another mode.
You're pretty more than likely gonna win this then. I got caught on both of the major jetpack clips.
I don't know, I don't want to choke on...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible, but...
Yeah, so this one doubled up the things you did earlier, right? Through mode. And then gave you 3D flight, which is cool.
Yeah.
She's fighters. Which was pretty cool.
So, do you know that this level is like virtually impossible on Jedi difficulty?
But is it possible?
It's possible.
With like
So
you just
20
need
lives.
a ton of lives.
As soon as we had one tester say they were able to get to the game on Jedi, we were like, okay, possible, we're done. That's
Sounds right.
probably how well balanced it was.
It's honestly easier on N64 just because the damage seems to be related to the frame rate. And because N64 is a lower frame rate than PC, you take less damage and slower.
Yeah.
But on PC, you need a minimum of 10 lives to beat this level. And like, that's not a joke. So
Funny
most
that-
of that run is just optimizing what extra lives to get, where not to die.
That was another first. The PC version of this game was one of the very first games ever to be to feature hardware acceleration. 3D graphics cards. I can't remember which one it was at the time. Voodoo or something like that. But yeah, so they didn't think it was going to suck much. It was like, well, it's only going to run on a hardware accelerated PC, so they had pretty low expectations, and it sold like hotcakes. I think it did 10 times what they thought it would. It's back in those days. That turret sequence was pretty cool. I always liked that. Use the same sounds from Falcon Squad lasers.
This is another one of those missions where you like showing off ships coming and going.
Yeah.
Soon in the distance, we'll see a Star Destroyer and a Skyhook station.
I always love that. You're gonna tell you're getting close.
It makes you feel like you're like actually moving and not just sitting here in space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the challenge. Even at X-Wing TIE Fighter, that was always the challenge to convey movement and speed. You do with some dust effects or things, but yeah, it's not until you're skimming over the surface of something you feel like you're moving fast.
All right. Enter in Skyhook.
There's the Star Destroyer.
I think I'm like 3 minutes behind you then. If you
Well, we
just
made that turret mission go on forever, didn't we?
Yeah, it's a 4-minute.
I think 4.5.
There's Skyhook.
Nothing you can do to speed that up.
So the turret on rails. Just guess that was one of those. Camera on a rail, taking a lot of path.
I always try to see if I can get 64 kills.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
What, for an
Oh,
N64
really?
nod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use any missiles though, because I don't want to have to reload at the start of the mission, so.
Yeah. The start of the mission, that's funny.
I'm at
That's how
61.
nonchalant this is.
I got 62.
Who knows? It may have been because the tester said I can get through the game in an hour. Oh shoot, we need to make this last longer.
Make it drag this out a little bit.
Yeah, now you got to fly. You get to fly in cockpit mode or third person, right? It's your choice. Yeah,
So
that's
cockpit mode, it's more like actual flight controls. Well, if you're holding the boost button down, it switches to like actual flying. You can like do full 3D.
yeah.
Which
I find
Yeah, that-
aiming a little easier in the cockpit mode.
Imagine if that's all we did. Flight shooter. Probably would have been a lot more published.
and you could have been before Rogue Squadron.
That being said, I gotta say, the on-foot levels are really my favorite of this game.
Yeah, I mean, most of the game was on foot. These were meant to be, I guess, palette cleansers, right? And some different.
Yes, got that.
But, you know, of course, in the fantasy of this thing, you're moving as fast as they were in Return of the Jedi, but can you imagine how impossible that would be
That is time.
to do anything? Boom! But now you're dead.
I did kill myself right there. It's much faster to kill yourself instead of actually try to escape.
It's true.
So you don't
Which
get
is
the,
almost unfortunate because the end is really cool there if you go out the arm of the Skyhook.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
Return of the Jedi. But
and then you get the secret cinematic where Dash lives.
right.
Slipped out the back door.
So you did these art scenes here with the.
Yeah. So yeah, I did the cinematic screens. Well, that was two of us really. Paul Topoulos is a storyboard artist I worked with, and he ended up doing a lot of the staging and framing of the scene. I would paint the whole scene. Photoshop back in the day.
These are
Those always
much
one of my
nicer than the
favorite
PC version.
Oh God!
Well, yeah, that was. We were a little too excited about facial animation, and we didn't have the. We suffered from a little bit of hubris there because, I mean, if you look at anything that was being done at the time,
Absolutely.
it was all pretty crude. But knowing that, we shouldn't have let the camera get that close. So. But the spaceship scenes were awesome.
That's
we were
true.
able to do really well. Did Dash really perish? Finish the game on medium to find out.
Hey, look, there you are.
Ta-da!
64.
Nice. Run is valid.
Yep. World record confirmed. All right. I'll be done in just a second here.
Yeah, these guys are all geniuses. Their names that you're seeing on the board there. Those are the 3 level designers from Dark Forces team. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people went into making these games back then. Probably a core team of 20, 25.
Always noticed that new games have credits that just go on.
Oh,
and
it
on
takes
and on.
hundreds. It takes hundreds of people to make a game these days.
Do you think we should go back to something like this?
I don't think you could. I mean, you can on, there's some mobile games that are kind of that kind of fit that, garage game developer vibe. But AAA console games, PC games, it's just a monumental effort. It costs as much or more than a big movie.
Especially if you wanted to appear to keep up with the times. I mean, sure, clearly it's possible to make something of this memory size and this resolution with that amount of people that you did back then, but you can't make something the way they do nowadays with this few people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. I'm trying to remember how much space we had on the cartridge. I don't remember. It's so small. I mean, your phone is like 1,000 times more powerful. 10,000 times more powerful. But at the time, it was unbelievable. Cool machine. The N64 was
Time
pretty,
for me.
pretty earth-shattering.
53, 56. BMAX
Nice.
is what, 50, 30? Yeah, I thought you were probably right about 3 minutes ahead of me. I really got stuck in Gaul and, well, really Gaul. I made it through sewers eventually.
That's what happens when you cheat.
Yeah,
It doesn't always work out that way.
yeah, it's true.
Exploits, risk reward.
It was a good run, though.
Was
Yeah.
a good one.
Both of you wrap that up in under an hour.
Yeah.
Just think, it cost $75 back then. I think that's what N64 games cost. Did you get your money's worth for an hour's worth of entertainment with $75?
Here I am, 28 years later, I have to say. Pretty sure I got my money's worth.
This game ruined the concept of pre-orders for me. I pre-ordered it from Toys R Us back then,
Oh yeah.
and went to go pick it up, and they're like,
it
"Oh,
wasn't-
we're all out. We
Oh, that's
didn't
right.
hit enough." And I'm like, "I pre-ordered it. Like, you guys should have
Yeah.
enough based on pre-orders."
They did not make enough.
No, they didn't care much about that.
They could have sold many,
After that
many
point.
more. It's tough
On the
though. I
other
mean,
hand-
those came back on ships from Japan, right? I mean, it was like you would send off a build, and then 3 months later, they came back in cartridges, in plastic wrap and all that stuff. It took 3 months, I think, from the time we were done to the time you actually saw it,
Wow.
which is bananas. It's weeks nowadays.
Well, John, it's been such an honor to hang out with you and play Shadows of the Empire.
It was fun
Absolutely.
watching you rock through it.
I had a ton of fun. It was very great to meet you, and I really, really feel lucky to have done this today with this.
And I hope everyone in chat enjoyed that. And I think it's going to be time for us to call it a night.
Me and
yeah.
BMAC, yeah, we're done. We did our part.
Well, I'm not done. But
Oh, well, fair enough, right? You're still administrating. I'll be here, don't worry.
up next, we've got 2 more games in the marathon. We have Jedi Fallen Order, and then we have the closer, which everyone is going to want to be here for. It's Connect Star Wars.
Oh God.
Get your Han Solo dances ready for that one.
That's the one I did not work on, and I was at
Your
Microsoft.
resume's better.
at Xbox.
You did not
at
do
the
any
time.
of the dance moves for those.
No, and oddly, nobody asked me if they wanted any help on the pod racing scene, even though I was the lead designer of the pod racing game
Wow.
that you
Did
played
you-
earlier.
Did you work on the arcade version?
Yes, I did help those guys. That was Sega. That was Sega Japan. It's amazing they got that together as fast as they did. We weren't done with our game. They had to come out around the same time. It was great. Yeah,
Right.
good stuff. All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
And,
very much.
We'll throw it back to intermission.
All right, Peace out.